Super Smash Bros. Melee is known for a lot of things. Fox, 20XX, having less than 5 viable characters according to people on Twitter who don't even play Melee, and of course, having only 6 tournament legal stages, those being Battlefield, Yoshi's Story, Dreamland, Fountain of Dreams, Pokemon Stadium, and Final Destination. But how did we get to this point? Why do we only have 6 tournament legal stages when some of the other 23 that are banned seem kinda cool? Well, let's dive in and find out. Our story begins back in 2002 with the Tournament Go tournament series. Tournament Go was Melee's first major tournament series, and the rules set on the archived Smashboards post announcing it don't explicitly state which stages are allowed, but going off of the Smash Wiki and Liquipedia pages for Tournament Go 2 and 3, all stages were legal at these events, and it can be inferred that it was the same for Tournament Go 1. I know that the first 3 Tournament Go's aren't considered majors, but they were the first big Melee tournaments, and I thought it was important to see where the rule set started so that anyone unfamiliar with Melee can understand how we got to the present day. Tournament Go 4 and 5 occurred in 2003, and from them we get our first 2 banned stages. 2 stages were banned, those 2 being Yoshi's Island 64 and Hyrule Temple. But why were they banned? First off, Yoshi's Island 64. Yoshi's Island 64 is mostly a good stage, but the issue with it is the clouds that occasionally appear on either side of the stage. The problem with them is that some characters can camp on the clouds, and when the clouds despawn, some characters can't recover and get back to the main part of the stage. Hyrule Temple, on the other hand, this stage needed a ban. The Cave of Life formed by the stage allows anyone to live to extremely high percents, and due to the stage's size, one could just camp by running away from their opponent on the massive stage. So I think that both of these bans are warranted, though Yoshi's Island 64 could maybe have an extra rule regarding the cloud or something. Moving on to 2004, the next 2 major Melee tournaments were Game Over and Melee FC1. Starting with Game Over, we can see that Rainbow Cruise, Brinstar, Green Greens, and Mushroom Kingdom are all banned in singles but not in doubles. Rainbow Cruise, the first of the doubles-only stages, was banned for enabling laser camping and stupid advantages, since most of the so-called fight on Rainbow Cruise is just moving around trying not to get off-screen. This resulted in characters with better aerial movement, like the game's top tiers, having massive advantages over the rest of the characters. Also, there's a lack of grabbable ledges. Why the stage was only banned in singles but not doubles is beyond me, but I'm sure they had their reasons back in the day. Brinstar was banned because of how sometimes the lava can come up and hit everyone on the stage, meaning that like Rainbow Cruise, characters with good aerial game have an advantage. Next, Green Greens. This is another stage hazard related ban, this time for the bombs that appear every so often. I can imagine that this was hell to deal with in doubles. And finally, Mushroom Kingdom. This stage was banned due to having walk-offs, which are points where you can just walk off the stage and die. These spots are broken since you can abuse them by just grabbing someone and throwing them in, like with Donkey Kong's cargo throw, or sometimes by just hitting them off screen, killing your opponent with no chance for them to recover. This stage also has Caves of Life, formed by the bricks, which allow people to live for an obscenely long time. Next up, the stage is banned in both singles and doubles, which aren't explicitly stated, but can be figured out by just seeing which stages are missing from the list of legal stages. We've got a long list here with 15 stages. Great Bay, Icicle Mountain, Jungle Japes, Congo Jungle, Onett, Venom, Hyrule Temple, Yoshi's Island, Big Blue, Brinstar Depth, Flat Zone, Fourside, Mushroom Kingdom 2, Poke Floats, and Yoshi's Island 64 all being banned. That's a really long list, and most of these stages were banned as one-offs and weren't fully banned until later tournaments, so I think that for a better grasp of the progression and so that half of the video isn't spent here explaining why they were banned, I think it'll be better to talk about Melee's next major, Melee FC1, which took place on July 9th, 2004. Melee FC1 had 5 banned stages, 3 more than Tournament Go 4 had. Other than Hyrule Temple and Yoshi's Island 64, the new banned stages consisted of Fourside, Brinstar Depths, and Great Bay. Fourside was banned due to not having any true platforms that are big enough to fight on, which, wouldn't you believe it, isn't very fun on a platform fighting game. There's also walls, which means, oh boy, infinites. And you can stall between walls with wall jumps. Also, Ness can't recover on this stage. If he falls down between 2 buildings, then he's gone. And this is an interesting design decision by Nintendo since, well, this is an Earthbound stage. Next off, Brinstar Depths. This ban was definitely necessary since the stage spins around and has like no grabbable ledges anywhere. Half the game is just trying not to fall off, which again, really sucks in a platform fighter. But I guess no one else thought that, since it was played on a bunch, even in grand finals of Tournament Go 4, which is quite unexpected since Melee is the game whose competitive scene started when a guy on Smashboard said that he was the best, and uses a rule set that tries to make the game as skill-based as possible, and yet it still took them 2 whole years to ban Brinstar Depths. Anyways, Great Bay. First off, the stage is tiny. If you've ever played on this stage against an opponent, you'll know that circle camping is overpowered on this stage. You can just keep on running away from your opponent, going in circles around the main platform. After Melee FC 1 came Tournament Go 6, the final tournament in the Tournament Go series. It was Melee's first Premier or Super Major tournament and had over 112 entrants, which in 2004 was a crazy number. And, apparently its rule set has gone undocumented for almost 20 years. Well, I guess that's some Melee lost media. Surely this won't be an issue later on. Moving on, we finally enter Melee's MLG era, where the game got its first pro circuit. And somehow, the first two MLG tournaments to be considered majors seem to have unknown stage lists, with the rule sets as of me originally writing this being lost media. Luckily, since I procrastinated on making this video for like 3 years, Dr. Z, one of the TOs for Genesis, actually found a full packet of the rule set for MLG San Francisco 2004, the first Melee major ever run by MLG. So now we know Hyrule Temple, Yoshi's Island 64, Flat Zone, Brinstar Depths, Icicle Mountain, Fourside, and Great Bay were all banned for MLG San Francisco 2004. As for MLG New York, that one is still lost media, but we can assume that it was roughly the same, since the 2004 Melee backroom rule set is nearly identical, with only the addition of Venom to the banned stage list. As we can see, all 5 stages banned at Melee FC1 stay banned, with the addition of Flat Zone and Icicle Mountain to the ban list. Flat Zone was banned since it has walk-offs and changes a lot due to stage hazards, even having stuff fall from the sky. And lastly, Icicle Mountain. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain this one. 2005 had 7 major tournaments, kicked off by most 3 on January 15th and 16th, which had the same 8 banned stages as in the 2004 MLG tournaments. The next major, MLG DC 2005, would go slightly modify the rule set of its predecessors, as Hyrule Temple, Yoshi's Island 64, Flat Zone, Brinstar Depths, Icicle Mountain, and Fourside all remained banned, while Great Bay was legalized, instead being replaced by the banning of Big Blue. Big Blue is a stage that takes the form of a racetrack, with players having to stay on cars while fighting. If a player touches the road, they are essentially finished, unless they have a good recovery. The next major, MLG San Francisco's banned stage list was identical to MLG DC 2005. Next up, Gettin' Schooled 2's rule set is entirely unknown. Yay, lost media, my favorite. However, I can't say the same about Melee FC3, which was the largest Melee tournament to date, reeling in a whopping 186 players and being 2005's first super major. For such a big and prestigious tournament, you'd think that it would have the most fair and developed stage list of its time, but nope, for some godforsaken reason only 5 stages were banned: Hyrule Temple, Yoshi's Island 64, Brinstar Depths, Fourside, and Great Bay. I can understand some of the legalizations, but Icicle Mountain? What were they thinking? Surely the next tournament would be better, right? But nope. The next one was a Japanese super major called the Jack Garden Tournament, and yet again, I can't find the rule set at all. At least the year's final major, MLG Los Angeles 2005, featuring professional gamer Killa OR, has a full and comprehensive rule set, including banned stages. And even better, MLG Los Angeles 2005 improved on San Francisco and DC's stage ban list with 8 banned stages: Hyrule Temple, Yoshi's Island 64, Flat Zone, Fourside, Brinstar Depths, Great Bay, and finally, Icicle Mountain and Big Blue. So it seems like in the shift from 2004 to 2005, the most commonly banned stages were mostly the same, with the only major change seen throughout majors being the legalizing of Venom and the banning of Big Blue. Next came 2006, which saw 10 majors, including 4 super majors headed by the 2005 MLG National Championship, which took place from February 25th to 26th of 2006. But yeah, the tournament had 8 banned stages, with all of them being previously banned at MLG Los Angeles 2005. At this point, one would be justified in thinking that the standard for banned stages would be these 8 stages. After all, these 8 stages had been the standard for a while now. I would say something here about how more stages got banned, and wow, haha, funny, get it, because that's the opposite of what I just said. But it turns out that the rule sets for the next 3 majors are completely undocumented. I scoured the internet and the Wayback Machine and found nothing. At least for the next major, Melee FC6, I can find a list of legal stages, and from there, I can find the banned stages for the tournament. 17 legal stages means 12 banned stages. The banned stages were as follows. First off, the standard 8 of the time: Mushroom Kingdom and Venom, which were both banned in previous tournaments; Mushroom Kingdom 2, which had walk-offs on the sides of the stage and also had Birdo on the stage shooting eggs; and the last banned stage, Yoshi's Island, not to be confused with Yoshi's Island 64. Yoshi's Island was banned because of its Caves of Life and walk-offs. Next was MLG Chicago 2006, which in true MLG fashion doesn't have a rule set I can find anymore. At least Zero Challenge 2, the next major of the year, has a rule set I can find, and boy, is this one interesting. So you see, this tournament was organized by the SoCal Elite Four, a group of 4 top players including Ken, the world's #1 player since 2001. And this time, Ken and the others decided to have only 6 stages legal for this tournament, the ones that they believed should be standardized in the entire Melee community. The 6 stages they chose were Final Destination, Pokemon Stadium, Dreamland, Fountain of Dreams, and Yoshi's Story. Zero Challenge 2 banned every other stage and was the first instance of the stage list we use today. But did it stick? No! Ken was truly ahead of his time. The next major, MLG Orlando 2006, had an actual rule set for once and had 15 banned stages, the most since 2004's Melee FC1, where I decided not to explain the ban reason for every stage. The list of banned stages for MLG Orlando goes a little something like this. I've already talked about why most of these stages were banned, but the ones that remain to be talked about are Congo Jungle, Onett, Princess Peach's Castle, and Yoshi's Island. First off, Congo Jungle. Not to be confused with Congo Jungle 64, it was banned since the rock in the bottom right corner of the map can be camped on. Onett was banned due to walk-offs, walls allowing for infinites, and of course, the traffic. Getting hit by cars randomly is not fun and sucks in a competitive setting. I'm not sure why it took so long for it to get banned. Next, Princess Peach's Castle. The stage was banned for having the bonsai bill, which can just kill you, a wall which allows for infinites, and for having said wall split the stage in two. After MLG Orlando 2006, the next major was MLG New York Playoffs 2006, which had the exact same rule set. But then, the final major of the year, the 2006 MLG National Championships, also known as MLG Las Vegas 2006, took the 15 banned stages of the last two majors and slapped 6 more onto it. 8 legal stages meant 21 banned stages, the most since Game Over. At this point, naming the legal stages would be quicker than naming the banned stages. If you're curious, that left only Battlefield, Final Destination, Dreamland, Fountain of Dreams, Pokemon Stadium, Congo Jungle 64, and Rainbow Cruise legal during this tournament. Of all the banned stages, the new never-before-banned stages consisted of Jungle Japes and Pokefloats, which were banned back in Game Over as a one-off, Mute City, and Corneria. Anyways, Jungle Japes was banned for its stage hazards, including Claptrap who can insta-kill you and the deadly water. The layout of the stage allowed for camping and stalling to be overpowered on this stage, with characters with projectiles doing especially well. The stage also has a really high ceiling, which gives an advantage to horizontal finishers. Pokefloats is, well... And Mute City has overpowered stage hazards and a lack of grabbable ledges. Finally, Corneria was banned for its size, its 2 overpowered camping spots, those being under the ship on the laser, and the right side of the fin, which allows for wall infinites. And of course, finally, the laser. 2007 saw the dominance of the fabled 2007 Mewtwo King, along with 8 majors, the most majors in a year until 2014. Anyways, the year was kicked off with Cataclysm 3, which was won by Mewtwo King and also had only 9 banned stages, which consisted of some of the most commonly banned stages. This was less than half of what MLG Las Vegas had banned. Surely this was a one-off, right? For the final MLG Series tournament for Smash Bros., MLG Long Island 2007, 15 stages were banned. We weren't quite back to the level of MLG Las Vegas with its 21 banned stages, but this was a lot more than Cataclysm. But at this point in time, there was never a true consistent number of stages that were widely banned between majors. The next major, for instance, Pound 2, had 13 banned stages. Congo, Jungle, and Onett, which were banned at the MLG tournament just over a month ago, were legal here. Although Jungle Japes may have also been banned, we don't actually know for sure, so it could have been 12 banned stages. Then came Melee FC Diamond. It also had 13 banned stages, almost the same ones as at Pound 2, with the only difference being that Onett was banned instead of Mushroom Kingdom 2. Next was Zero Challenge 3, which followed in the footsteps of Zero Challenge 2 and became the second instance of a major tournament having the same stage list that we have today. But yet again, it wouldn't stick, with the next major, EVO World 2007, where Hugs would make it to Grand Finals randomly and some kid named Mango would get 3rd place. EVO went back up to 15 banned stages, using the same banned stage list as MLG Long Island earlier that year. The next major, Super Champ Combo, had the same banned stages as EVO, and then the year's final major, Viva La Smashtaclysm, had 19 banned stages, the second most of any major yet since MLG Las Vegas 2006, excluding the Zero Challenges, of course. The stages banned were the 15 from EVO, as well as Corneria, Green Greens, Jungle Japes, and Pokefloats. And with that, 2007 concluded, and Melee entered a dark age, with only 11 major tournaments happening in the next 4 years. 2008 had only 2 major tournaments, Pound 3 and Epita Smash Arena 2. The first of these, Pound 3, had 14 banned stages, 5 less than Viva La Smashtaclysm. The other major of the year was Epita Smash Arena 2, which is notable for being the last time Solo Sheik won a major until Jmook won Genesis 9 in 2023. It was also the third instance of the stage list we use today. Next came 2009 with its own 3 majors, starting with a revival of Melee. It had 15 banned stages, which at the time seemed like roughly the standard number of banned stages, with most of the past few tournaments having around that many. It had the same banned stage list as Pound 3 with the addition of Congo Jungle. And then, the big one, Genesis. Genesis had an interesting stage list, 17 banned stages with the legal stages being the 6 we use today, along with the addition of Rainbow Cruise, Poke Floats, Corneria, Brinstar, Mute City, and Congo Jungle 64. I guess the TOs wanted it legal for funsies or something, but then a certain match happened. Pink Shinobi versus Rockrock. Pink Shinobi, who played Peach, timed out Rockrock, who played Ganondorf, on Congo Jungle 64. This was possible due to the high platforms that Peach, who is a floaty, can access easily while Ganondorf can't. So Pink Shinobi would just spam turnips and stall out Rockrock, leading to a timeout, 3 stocks to 2. Also at Genesis, a certain other Peach player would counterpick Mute City against several top players, such as Lucky, Mewtwo King, and DeShizWiz, winning every game they played on Mute City. And while the next major, Revival of Melee 2, had Mute City legal, alongside the Classic 6 and Corneria, Rainbow Cruise, Brinstar, Green Greens, and Poke Floats, every major that followed would have it banned. Thanks, Armada. Congo Jungle 64, meanwhile, would take a little longer to get banned, taking an extra couple of years, but that fateful game between Pink Shinobi and Rockrock would not be forgotten. An interesting thing I noticed is that both future stage bans resulting from Genesis both occurred as a result of Peach players. Surely Pink floaties will never be controversial again, right? Next came 2010, which was kicked off by Pound 4, meaning that we have finally entered the era of the 5 gods. Pound 4 had 20 banned stages. The legal stages were the Classic 6, Brinstar, Rainbow Cruise, and Congo Jungle 64. Apex 2010 would have the same legal and banned stages, and surprisingly, Revival of Melee 3 would also have the same stage list, and would also be the final time Rainbow Cruise was legal. Except for Pound 5 randomly having it legal a year later, but who cares? Shoutouts to PPMD for getting Rainbow Cruise banned. 2011 would be kicked off by Pound 5, which would have the same stage list as ROM 3, Rainbow Cruise and all. Surprisingly, Genesis 2's stage list seems to be lost media. I searched for like 20 whole minutes and searched every link and Smashboards post I could find, used the Wayback Machine to navigate dead links and everything, but found nothing. All I do know is that according to Melee stats, Congo Jungle 64 was played on 3 games out of the 639 played in Top 64, so no one really cared about the stage at all. This is what would be the final nail in the coffin for Congo Jungle 64 being banned. Despite Pink Shinobi's antics back at Genesis 1 resulting in one of the most boring games of Melee imaginable, the stage itself being boring is what would eventually seal its fate. Following Genesis 2, the following major, Revival of Melee 4, did in fact not have the at the time standard rule set, instead opting for having 22 banned stages and 7 legal stages. Battlefield, Final Destination, Dreamland, Yoshi's Story, Pokemon Stadium, Fountain of Dreams, and Congo Jungle 64 one final time. And how did that turn out for the following majors? 2012 began with Apex 2012, and the legal stages were Battlefield, Final Destination, Dreamland, Yoshi's Story, Pokemon Stadium, Fountain of Dreams, and nothing else. Only the 6 stages we use today were legal at Apex 2012. We don't know what the heck happened at Zenith 2012 since I can't find the stage list, but Impulse, the following major, followed the pattern, with only the 6 stages we use today being legal. However, Smasher's Reunion Melee Grande was weird because it had 8 legal stages, those being the Classic 6, Rainbow Ride, and oh my god, Congo Jungle 64 again. At least it was the final time it would be legal for real this time. And then Melee FC 10R Legacy, which sounds like a new Kingdom Hearts game, went back to having just the Classic 6 stages legal. Yeah, that's right, the Classic 6 stages along with freaking Brinstar, Rainbow Cruise, and Mute City. Damn it, we almost had a truly standard rule set, but nope, after Smasher's Reunion Melee Grande, we returned to utter chaos. But then, when all tournaments had stupid stage lists, a light shone down on the Melee community. Kings of Cali was a return to form, having only the Classic 6 stages legal. 2013 had Apex 2013, which had the Classic 6 legal. Zenith 2013, which had the Classic 6 legal. Evo 2013, which had the Classic 6 legal. Big House 3, which had the Classic 6 legal. And oh my god, every major in 2013 used the stage list that we use today. And that's all thanks to the Apex standard rule set for Melee, which had been in use at most majors since Apex 2012. But did it continue? 2014 also had every single major use the Apex standard rule set for Melee, which used the 6 stages that we use today. Apex, ROM 7, Gommel, Pat's House 2, Skates R3 I think, Super Sweet, MLG Anaheim, CEO, Kings of Cali, Evo, and the Big House. They all used it. The only one I can't find any actual documentation of this for is Skates R3, which had dead links galore, but we can assume it also used the 6, now finally standard, stages. And with that, our story ends here.